Welcome to Whiskey and Whitetails, a show for those who hunt with passion and drink with a purpose. As always, we're your host. I'm Gus.
I'm Matt.
Thanks to our Patreon for the little support, and thanks to Waypoint Network for having us. And as always, thank you for listening, subscribing, and sharing, and all the other ways that you support us. This week we have a awesome guest, Bryan from 10th Mountain Whiskey and Spirit Company. He's going to tell us a little bit about what they have going on over there and all the cool things they're getting into. So stay tuned.
And we're live. All right. Thanks for jumping on with us, Bryan.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Thank you for the hats. You guys sent us some swag. My hats. I didn't want to be. We didn't have all three be matching, so I went.
Oh, I mean, I could. No one will know.
No, you're good. You're good. And your last name is the same name as on that bottle. Do you own the divorce fortune?
God, I wish I owned that. No, my family was a part of that though. So.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm linked in specific ways. If you can see the banner behind me, we get some stuff sent to us a couple times a year, every other year, from the factory. So that's kind of cool.
Well, that is cool. That's a nifty background to have, especially if you get free whiskey out of it.
Yeah, it's awful.
All right. So you sent us some whiskey too. We got whiskey, a bourbon, and a rye, and then we got this brandy. We actually didn't open the brandy today. We did a pre-session to sip some of this stuff, but Gus tried the whiskey. I had the rye, so I think I'm going to drink the bourbon.
Yeah. I will do the same.
This is what we were sent. We're going to talk all about 10th Mountain. I've been seeing you guys around. Is there a huge military connection for that?
There is. So 10th Mountain was originally founded in Camp Hale, Colorado in the 1940s. What they were doing is they were there to be the mountaineers during that time frame. So it was around 10,000 to 12,000 feet where they were training at in the early 1940s, and with pieces of wood for skis. You can't see the skis currently, but I actually have the original skis behind me, behind this Nyala that's just in my way. But those are the skis that they were actually using back in that time frame to do that. We decided in 2014 or 2013, we wanted to start making whiskey and started producing it in 2014. And we wanted to pay homage to the 10th Mountain Division. And we've been doing that every day since. So we're excited to push forward with all military communities and everybody around the world with our whiskey and show our pride to everything that we have.
I wore 10th Mountain patch for, I think, a month in Afghanistan. I worked with a bunch of different teams as they came in and out. But I remember in basic training, as soon as I got your hat, I pulled the hat out and looked at my wife, and I was like, 10th Mountain, patch on my shoulder, pick up your ruck and follow me, mountain infantry. Remind me of basic training a little bit.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, it does. So what do you guys think of that? You both have the bourbon now, right?
Yes, we split it up today.
Awesome. What do you guys think of that? Are you just trying to figure out which one's which, Gus?
Yeah, I put them in the same glass, and then I don't know which one's which. I think I got the bourbon though. That's what I tried this afternoon. It's I like it. It
reminds me of a rum almost.
Really?
Yeah, it's like super sweet, like rummy sweet.
You're actually getting that sweetness from the corn we get from Cortez, Colorado, from the Ute tribe. So we're the only ones pulling from the Ute tribe and using that corn. So it's a blue corn. It's going to be that sweet, very sweet flavoring. So,
yeah, that's sweet, almost like caramel corn. It reminds me like for the popcorn you get at the fair. You know, caramel corn.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Which is, it's funny. Some of the other we have a local company or a local distillery here that uses a very rare corn, and you get similar very pronounced notes from their corn as well. But I didn't know. That's fascinating. How did that relationship start?
The relationship was literally started by our owner. He went around trying to find the best corn possible in Colorado because we wanted everything local. Yeah. So we went around and found the Ute tribe wasn't doing any distilleries anywhere. And we asked them if we could buy it from them to do this, and they said yes. So it was just a really cool coincidence at that time.
That's
That
really
whole
cool.
story on the website.
The Ute tribe? No.
Yeah, man, you guys should talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to and talk about it more, but I need a little bit more detail from the owner himself so I can share it. So,
Right. Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's something that he just went around and was like, "This is something I want to try out," and it worked,
yeah.
which is rare because usually those experiments don't work.
No, that's accurate.
You definitely get a lot of different flavor notes from getting away from like the standard number 2 yellow dent corn and going into like more of a niche or a craft corn. They
Yeah.
add a ton of flavor. You get a lot of flavor depending on what kind of grains you're using. But you would never think that corn, because growing up, you eat corn. Like how many times you eat corn, you go, that doesn't taste like the other corn. Like it all tastes the same. But when you distill
Right.
it, it's pretty nuts.
No, and our rye actually comes from the same area, around that same area. Some of it comes from the Ute tribe, some of it comes from different parts, but our rye is actually in the bourbon as well, and some barley. So we have 4% barley that's in there, and that comes from Sheboygan.
Nice. And you guys have how big is your location there?
It's about 10,000 square feet, so we're not big by any means, but we're trying to push out the best product we can without asking for billionaires for money because we're doing this all ourselves. So
Right.
we want to make sure that we're pushing out the best product and giving you guys and the viewers out there the best thing that we can produce possible. And this is the best way we can do it is by talking to you guys and getting on podcasts around the country and around the world and doing events to make people smile. That's all we care about.
Right.
So.
Yeah. You guys are always looking like you're having fun on Instagram for sure. Every time I see, I'm like, man, I want to go to that. I wish I wouldn't so far away. Was there ever a contract distilling time, or it's all been kind of in house?
It's all been in house. There's never been a contract distilling time. So on all the products across the board, it's all in house.
Very cool. Respect that a lot. You see a lot of folks take the other path and understand it from a business perspective, but totally respect the idea of doing everything in house and taking it slow, if you have to, and staying small so you don't have to ask folks for money. We take the same approach with whiskey and whitetails. We've been approached a couple of times about getting into business with folks in exchange for investing, and it's just like, we have specific ideas and what we want to do, just like I'm sure you guys do, and we would rather play the long game and slow burn that process if that's what it takes to do what we want and provide what we want the way we want to, than to be forced to have to take other people's input and influence. So yeah, I totally get it.
Oh, I mean,
the
that's
first thing that happens.
I love to hear that. So, I mean, it's all about the small businesses around the country supporting everybody else. So, this is awesome to be on something like this and see you guys grow the way you have, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Y'all too. It's I can't remember the first time I saw it. How long have you guys been putting out whiskey? I know you've been around a little bit longer than that, but
Since 2014.
okay. All right.
So yeah, we've been putting out whiskey. We laid down our first barrel. These are the small ones back then, the 5 gallons and 10 gallons ones in 2013, and we started selling it in 2014.
Okay.
So,
And what's the oldest? You guys are pumping out stuff. Everything's pretty young, but we always say the age doesn't really mean anything if it tastes good.
right, and that's what we're concentrating on is the taste and the flavor and everything. But we do have barrels that are aging. I know there's one that's almost 10 years old now. I don't know where it is because the master distiller won't tell the owner or I because they know we'll maybe thief from it once or twice. But the stuff that is coming out and the ones we've just had, I think the oldest release we just did for a single barrel pick was 4.5 years
Nice.
to a private group, and I fell in love with it when I tried it. So
Has the mash bill changed over those years, or it's all kind of staying the same?
mash bill has stayed really close to what the original recipe was since the start. It's changed by a few grains, but not severely. You're talking about 65 to 95% on the bourbon, or that's the rye, I'm sorry. So 95%, and then the corn was 70 to 75. So
You can tell it's high corn. It's a huge corn smell in the nose, which is one of my favorite things about my whiskey days started, being around moonshine. So when I smell something that's mellow and sweet corn, I get all excited.
well, I mean, I could have sent you our moonshine too. It's 100%
Good.
corn.
Yeah,
Nice.
could have.
Yeah.
What's that proof out at?
This is 100 proof.
Nice. It's good.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be. Proof is supposed to be 100, and then you have high proof and low proof, and yeah,
Absolutely.
100 proof. If you can make good product at 100 proof, you're making good whiskey.
That's it. That's it. So, all right. So, I do. There are other. Where are you located at in Vale? Because I have a personal connection to Vale. Where are you guys at in that area?
So Vale is our tasting room. So do you know where the
Oh, okay.
covered bridge is in Vale? It's
Yes.
town center. You pass a covered bridge, we're immediately off to the right, looking down on the river.
Oh, cool. Awesome. So I did me and my wife went on our honeymoon in Vale. And we purposely went in like October, off season. It was dead there, and so we had like the entire town to ourselves. It felt like, and so we ate at a bunch of different restaurants. And hung out around town and did all kinds of stuff. And there's literally nobody there. It was the coolest thing ever. We don't really ski, so we didn't care that the resorts weren't open. So hitting up some of these like really nice restaurants, the ones that were still open, they're just excited that someone's coming in the door, and then you tell them it's your anniversary, and we were getting free champagne and free dinners. It was great. It was a lot of fun. So I was just curious where you guys were situated in Vale. That's really cool.
Yeah, so we're located right there. That's our first tasting room. Our second tasting room's in Gypsum, Colorado, where our distillery's at, which is about 30 minutes west. Because no one can actually afford to distill in Vale, as you guys know. It's a little pricey.
Yeah.
So
yeah, when I saw Vale in the label, I was like, isn't that like a really expensive area? It seems like it'd be high rent for putting anything, but it makes sense you have a tasting room.
Oh, the tasting room's phenomenal. I mean, the people around the tasting room, the other owners of the companies, there's a hat place called Kimosabi's. I'm not sure if that was open during your time. It's a cowboy hat place.
I don't remember. I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fair. But they've been around as long as us, and we've moved locations once in Vale. So we were a little bit farther down in city center, and then we moved to this location when it opened up after we were given permission. But it's been a game changer for us, and the people and the community are just so welcoming.
I was gonna say, like, again, every time I see y'all, it looks like you're having a good time. There's people there, people supporting you, and I mean, I see stuff online about it all the time, which is crazy for a small startup. I mean, you guys aren't a small startup anymore, but I've been aware of it for a while, and to see all the stuff coming out, and I'm like, man, one day, because I can't. It's hard for me to find. South Carolina doesn't get shipped a lot of stuff, so I'm not huge on buying things online anymore, but yeah, I've been wanting to try it for a long time because it's something that actually strikes a chord with me, being that I deployed with 10th Mountain a little bit. So
hey, I mean I wasn't 10th Mountain. I can never claim 10th Mountain. I was a crayon eater, so
nice.
I was in the Marine Corps. Actually, I got my edible box over here, but I can't show that because I got a middle finger. So
I keep them here just for when y'all show up. I got them right here, and I don't have kids, so that's actually pretty funny that I got a box of crayons in there.
That is funny, actually.
I mean, we could do this one, but I just
yeah.
I'll just cover up that. Oh, okay, it's up.
Yeah, no, we don't care.
It is offensive crayons.
Oh, I love it.
That's great.
Those are my kind of crayons.
Oh yeah, that was a retirement gift from one of my buddies when I got out. So
when'd you get out?
2011.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you were in during the fun stuff then.
I was. It was an adventurous time. Yes.
Yeah. I'll tell everybody, it's kinetic and lovely. It's that's how I describe
it. That is 100%. I'm stealing that.
Yeah, you can. And you guys do a lot with veteran stuff too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we support nonprofits all across the country. I just got back from Cody, Wyoming, supporting a long distance shooting competition for the Special Operations Warfare Foundation, where they were able to raise over 6 figures during that event in 2 days.
Wow.
So it was absolutely phenomenal. The people were great. The 5th group was there competing, which was awesome to see an active unit come out and shoot. We support other nonprofits. I run a nonprofit, and that's actually how I met the owner of the company. I run a nonprofit called Base Camp 40 Warriors into the Wild, and we take veterans hunting and fishing around the world for free. So I reached out to him since he was local and I was local, and I said, hey, would you mind donating a couple bottles where we could take it out to these guys? Because one of them was prior 10th Mountain. And he fell in love with it, and we've been talking ever since. And I was a federal agent at that time. And once I left the agency, he said, do you want a job? I said, I would hate selling whiskey. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So
And you were like, yeah, give me a start date.
yeah, that was pretty much it. I went to South Africa. Right after South Africa, I left the agency. A month later, was in. So
Nice.
That's awesome. That's a smooth
Yeah.
transition. We talk a lot about how people transition out of the military into other things. And I know you had a job in between, but still, it's awesome to be able to slide right into something that fits your kind of like your mantra, your headspace, and everything, and be able to work for a place like that.
Oh, absolutely. It's absolutely phenomenal to see that in all the aspects we do. Vail Veterans Program, we're doing stuff. I fly out tomorrow to Kentucky for a Folds of Honor event. It's called the Bourbon Ball. So we're going out there, and 100% of the proceeds are going to go back to Folds of Honor and support those fallen heroes or wounded heroes to give those scholarships to families in need. So
Yeah, I'm taking notes as we talk about stuff. But so I have to go back to the long range shooting thing. I have my stud. You were thinking it too.
Yeah, Ortiz and then Lariat. Yeah.
Yeah, so we work with a group called Snipers Unknown, and I actually was planning vacation this year around the time that they were having their event, and I moved it a week so that I can go. But we sponsor a team. I almost wore the shirt, believe it or not. But
oh wow,
we sponsor a sniper team there. It's one guy's an active duty Green Beret, and the other guy is a I don't know if we can say what he does. He does like
Probably not.
you're good.
he does cool stuff. He's not in the military anymore, but he used to be. But he's also a long range sniper. But they were. Lamar was talking about, he's actually my stepbrother. He was talking about doing a long range shooting thing where you would kind of take people hunting and teach them long range hunting. And I was like, yeah, if we could find a place to do it, like mountaintop to mountaintop somewhere. I guess there's a place in Colorado, huh?
Because we have. I was going to say we have so many of us from the Southeast. Like we hunt our whole lifetime, and a long shot for us is 200 yards across a farmer's field. Like we don't often get opportunities to go out in that country and take long range shots. So a lot of us don't ever learn to shoot that.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, one of the properties we guide on is a little over 5,000 acres. So you can shoot mountaintop to mountaintop just fine. And then we got several other ones that are even longer. And I'm not going to disclose those locations because the owners are I don't think they would be happy with me. But it's kind of cool seeing these veterans get behind guns again. And some of them are active duty or some of them are Gold Star families, seeing those dads get behind guns or moms or daughters or sons and watching them experience the outdoors in the best way possible.
Yeah. We're very picky about the charities we work with, but most of them are either 100% volunteer, meaning nobody gets a paid salary, or they are like you pay for their lifestyle, but not necessarily for them to be rich. And then there's a lot of charities that will pay the CEO $300,000 to $600,000 a year, and we choose not to support those charities. But it's fine. They're still doing good work. We're not talking shit. I'm just for us, that's what we choose to go to these smaller charities for a reason. But I could staff a long range shooting competition or shooting class with veterans. I mean, so easy. I've already got so many people that I've mentioned it to that want to go. That'd be something cool for like a little collab thing we could do.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. We could talk about that. I know one of the owners I actually work with really well. He would be highly motivated to do something like that. His son and I are currently, I'm drawing elk cutouts and mule deer cutouts on steel, and he's actually cutting them out. So
nice.
That would be, yeah. So I think we're going to put one at 1,500 yards, one at 1,000 yards, put a turkey at 800 yards, have some fun with it, make them good along the way. Maybe a moose at 2,000 yards.
That'd be sick.
That'd be cool shit. Yeah.
Is that pretty common for people to take? I mean, is that an ethical shot that far away, or you don't see people doing that much?
No, you don't see people doing that ever. I've seen one guy do it, and he was first recon sniper. This man was terrifying to all death, and I love him half to death as well. So, but yeah, he could shoot a fly off an ass at 1,000 yards, and it's kind of impressive.
That's wild.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I wouldn't be taking that shot, but it would be cool to go and shoot steel anyway, and you wouldn't have to do that during hunting season. That could be an off-season thing.
Yeah, so we could do it during an off-season thing. People could actually shoot at targets that are life-size targets of these animals at certain yardages and have fun with it.
Yeah, I think there's a cool charity event in there. Raise some money for your charity, and everybody involved. We just like doing stuff like that. We don't have to make any money. So we'll just staff it and bring people. That would be
show
awesome.
up and write it off. We're good then.
I'll be right there with you guys. So let's do it.
Yeah, hell yeah. So what's some of the hunts you've been doing this? How long have you been doing the charity hunt stuff?
So after I got out, the charity hunt started in 2011 by a man named Paul Bristol. The first guy we took out his name was Mark Johnson. He just lost his job at the sheriff's office department. He was a former Green Beret. He's actually one of our board members now as well, just like myself. When that happened, he was running low on food and everything like that. And Paul came up to him and said, do you want to go hunting? Because he knew his prior background. He said, I would love to, but I have no money. He said, it's on the house. No worries. So took him out hunting, came back, and he said it was a life changer for him and his family. So just to hear that, it still brings tears to my eyes today because of that. And those guys how we started is very humble, and how we are now is still humble because we're not on social media a lot. We don't post a lot. I do some posts a couple times a week or a couple times a month, and then every event I'll go out and take posts, or every hunt or fishing trip or whatever we do, I'll post those online and on certain attributes or people we're helping out that want their name out there. We don't want to define a veteran with their name or their picture. If they don't want to be known, you're going to be anonymous with us. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing, depending on who you are. But we want to make sure everybody's happy, healthy, and doing the best they can for their country in the way that they can. So that's how we started. The way I got in is after I got hurt, I got out, joined the government. My injuries pertained and got worse. So I ended up having a hip surgery, a knee surgery, and a shoulder surgery in 2015, where I was on a walker, a wheelchair, and a cane almost all simultaneously sometimes, so I can go to the bathroom. But they helped me out, and I was able to get that life-changing experience, and loved it ever since. And I joined the board and just kept going with it.
And you never get tired of hearing those stories, just like yours, right?
Yeah.
I hear you, dude. And it's like every time we it's all good, man. Cheers to that, dude. Every time we do this stuff and we hear those stories, it's just like it's saving. This is when people talk about charities and they're like, well, I don't get it. You're taking them hunting. What is that? How is that therapy? It's like, well, just because it's not therapy to you doesn't mean it's not therapy to us. I mean, it's wild how much it actually just being outside alone, just sitting in a tree stand by yourself and thinking about shit. And then, something comes out for you to harvest or kill. Great.
Yeah.
But even if that doesn't happen, just the camaraderie and being around guys that are just like you in the head, and we can all make the same jokes. We don't got to be PC. We can do whatever we want to do and just
100%
heal. I mean, it's just healing.
No, and that's why I still guide today, and I'll continue guiding until my body gives out, and then I'll get one of those fucking awesome wheelchairs, and I'll still guide then.
Yeah. We commissioned a Boy Scout to build maybe Gus, you can talk more about that than I can.
Oh, well, you were talking about, all the great things that, that you and the people that you've helped have been able to experience with your hunts. And that's, we're involved a lot with Camp Hero, Kentucky. They do a very similar thing. They offer a lot of outdoor therapy opportunities for veterans and first responders. And, the number of times I've been out there and Matt's been out there, just seeing the impact that it has on these folks and their ability to come out and disconnect and just have some fellowship and camaraderie, and no judgment. Nobody cares what your service entailed. Nobody cares what your background entailed. No one's comparing, or there's no competition out there. You're just there to be with one another and to have a good time and to unwind. And, it's really meaningful that particular charity, and when what they offer, is meaningful. And so over the past couple of years, we've been involved with them. My son, my older son, he's a Boy Scout, and he's working on his Eagle project. And he came to me about a month ago and was like, "Do you think Rocco has anything at Camp Hero that maybe he would need some help with?" And I said, "I guarantee you, he's got something to he could use some help with. And so what he's actually going to do is for his Eagle project, he's actually going to convert a little, I think it's 6x10 or whatever it is, trailer into a wheelchair accessible hunting blind that can be moved around the property, so that we can, we'll go up there and finish the build and everything, and give Rocco an opportunity, the capability to help folks that are wheelchair bound move around and get around the property and do some hunting. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, he's pretty excited about it. We're excited to help out Rocco because he's done so much for so many people and for us. So it's been good.
I really hope he's lifting the trailer up and putting that on tracks as well.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be able to move it from side to side.
Yep.
Yeah, it's possible. I think he's trying to make it for a side by side, so they can just you can load them up in there, seatbelt them in or whatever, and then just tow them back. Is that kind of what the plan is?
Yeah. So right now we're still just working on the structural design of it and kind of making sure the structural integrity is where it needs to be, and then we'll sort of dial in the little nice to haves and some of the more functionality pieces of it. But his biggest piece is wanting to be able to just move it around the property using a side by side,
That's
and
perfect.
maybe go down the road a little bit if it needs to. So that being insulated and to be able to keep it a little bit warm in there for folks if they need it. I think those are his priorities.
That's awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah, it's that's why I was like, when we were talking over email, I wasn't saying, I mean, I usually don't say anything over email anyway, but I was like, oh, we have so much in common, so much to talk about, especially just on that side. And then when you get into like the whiskey stuff, it's even more. I feel like we ended up talking forever if we didn't stay on topic. So what?
Wait.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm listening. I'm just pouring another.
Yeah, please do. Please pour more of your whiskey. So what is your job title there? Just to have.
I am the military sales director for the company.
Okay. And your main goal is to get people to try it or keep it in their stores, or what's going on? What's the main purpose?
My main purpose is to get it in all the Class 6s around the country, around the world, as well as support these military nonprofits that are out there to make sure they're getting the best quality product, either for free from us or at a super reduced rate, depending on the nonprofit. Like you discussed, if their CEO is making $400,000 a year, they're going to be paying us something. They're not going to get it for free because they can slightly afford it. And if the board, like my nonprofit, doesn't get paid, the product's donated in that way. Or Special Forces Operations Foundation, their board is paid very, very minimally, and it's all about helping each other out. So we want to make sure they're supported in the best way possible.
And that's a great group to be with, because those are going to be the guys that know how to shoot already. And so taking them hunting is not a big deal.
No, it's the couple of the guys I became friends with this weekend, and sounds like they'll be coming up this way either sometime soon for just to get some night vision on. We'll shoot some coyotes or get them behind some thermal scopes and have fun with it at 1,000 yards or something.
Well, we just found out recently that our club here in Charleston has a bunch of pigs in it. So if you want to come down with some thermals, we can shoot some pigs.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
I think Gus said that they dammed, the beavers had dammed the water.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they fixed it yet, but we have the back part of so we have about 3,000 acres, the club size, and the back, I would say, I don't know what, Matt, 800 to 1,000 acres is swamp, and the water comes up and down. So half of the year you can walk through it just fine. The other half, it's perfect for hunting ducks. It just depends on the time of year. But I think what the landowners were saying is that some beavers somewhere, the waterways where that is sort of the start of the Ashley River here in Charleston, and so some beavers have dammed up something, and it's backing up the water further up into the property than normal, and so it's pushed all the hogs further, because the hogs will tromp through the water out to these little islands, and they hang out where they don't get bothered. But we've been seeing it up where they're like within 100 yards of the main road, which is really unusual.
Right.
So before deer season starts and folks start going out there with family and kids, we're trying to thin out some of that property.
Trying to capitalize on this opportunity here.
Well, let me know. Maybe we can organize it where I can get some veterans out there, and we'll have a good time with it.
Yeah, that would be great. That'd be a lot of fun, actually. I'm gonna write that down too. I got all kinds of notes today.
I feel like if I pull out my notepads, I'm going to be in trouble now.
We've been doing this long enough that I'm like, man, I don't remember what points we made until, and sometimes I re-listen to them, sometimes I don't. But it's like, if I don't re-listen to it, it's gone. So I started making notes,
Oh,
trying to
perfect.
keep it all lined up. What can you tell us about this brandy? I haven't opened it yet.
That's a brandy. It's a Pinot Noir brandy. It just won third in the U.S. on USA Today's top brandy list a month and a half ago. What it is, the brandy came from the Smith family winery in Napa Valley. There should be a little story on the side of it there.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about it is the brandy, the owner, Smith families, and our owner, Ryan, met at a nonprofit event. So they met at the Vales Veterans Program, which takes veterans all across the country on outdoor adventures from skiing to hiking to biking to golfing, just to try to get them out moving again. And they spend a week out here doing all that. So they met at the big dinner they have once a year for this and became friends. Ryan flew out there to Napa Valley to see the winery just because he likes wine. I mean, I do too, so I wanted to go, but I didn't know about jack shit at this point. Um, once that happens, the owners gave him a call about 2 months later, 3 months later, and says, "We have 30,000 gallons of Pinot Noir. Do you want it? It doesn't fit our flavor profile. We're happy to send it to you." He said, "How much?" They said, "Free." And he said, "Abso-fucking-lutely."
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So about 2 weeks later, we got a tanker full of Pinot Noir. And we had to put it in every pot still, every air fermentation tank we had, and we still didn't have enough room. So we filled all of our barrels with it. And then we just started distilling it off and putting it in our used bourbon barrels. And that's what you have today. It's been aged 2 years in our bourbon barrels.
That's really cool.
It tastes really good. I'm surprised. I like, if you drink moonshine, there's some peach and apple brandy in there every once in a while. But yeah, I don't think I've ever had a Pinot Noir brandy. It has almost like a fig. I only say that because my fig tree's blooming, but I can smell those figs in this.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. I'll just. No, this is my happy place. Do this in a hot toddy, or even get a hot cider and just hot cider in the winter with this.
Yeah,
all day.
That's a good idea. Gus, I should have given you some of that.
That's okay. I know where you live.
Even just like sipping it straight, neat, very good.
Oh, thank you. So it's 95.
Crazy. And it was all like, here it is, and that's what you made from it.
Yeah, that's exactly what we made out of Pinot Noir. We had no idea what we were going to make, and then we made brandy.
How many times have you made something and it didn't work out?
Actually, we haven't made anything that didn't work out.
Nice.
That's dead serious. So we have single malt. This is probably my favorite. This is absolutely phenomenal. It's almost like a Highland Scotch without the peat. And so you're going to get the grassy tones from the single malt, but you're also going to get some almost fluorescent flavors from the barrel. And I don't know how those got in here, but this is probably my favorite on earth. Just coming from a Scotch company, or thinking I have.
Coming with that thick Scottish background. It's in your blood, man. There's some kind of genetic code in there that it tells you it's good or not.
I mean, I do have a 100-year-old bottle right here that I just pull from sometimes. So,
wow,
yeah, it's awful.
That's a cool looking decanter, dude.
I was talking more about the decanter. I can't imagine that it actually tastes any good.
Oh, it's
100-year-old.
How old was it when they barreled it?
1886 to 1986.
Wow.
So this one my dad gave to me after I retired from the Marine Corps, and he has one more for me when I get married, if I get married.
Or have a kid. Now. Because I assume you got to split it with me, so.
Yeah, I mean,
That's pretty awesome that you're going to get 2 in a lifetime. So how many did he get?
2.
What? You saved them both for you?
No, he got 2 in his lifetime. I get 2 in my
Oh.
lifetime. So I don't know if my kids will have any of this because I'll probably drink it all. But
well, you know as well as anyone, whiskey is made to be drank. So
Yeah.
no,
Don't
it
save
is.
Take it from me. Don't save everything for your kids, man. Enjoy some of it. It's fine.
Yeah.
They probably won't appreciate it anyways.
They probably won't appreciate it as much as you do, anyhow.
I said the same thing when I was growing up. I didn't like the flavor of Scotch when I was a little kid, and I remember when my grandfather passed away, we opened up another one of these bottles, and I took a sip out of it because that's what you do as a doer. When someone passes away with a doer name, you open the oldest bottle in the house, and that bottle goes away. Doesn't matter how old you are back then. And this is, by the way, people, this is in the early days. People didn't care when you drank when you were younger, so please don't get offended by that. But
none of our listeners are going to be offended.
Yeah, we don't have offensive listeners. We tell them to leave.
Well, thank God. But it's I have to be very cautious with my job. So
I understand.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was one of those things where I just got excited about it, tried it. I don't know how old I was. I probably got drunk off 2 shots, knowing my age and my background at that time. Yeah. But that bottle disappeared that night. So
I love that tradition. I might make that. Well, I don't have kids, but you should make that a tradition, Gus.
Yeah, my kids.
Whenever a Brown dies, everybody drinks a bottle.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
The oldest bottle we have, which will be like 9.5 years old or something.
Yeah, not a little. Shit.
So have you been involved with some of this stuff on the back end, like, or just in the sales? Like, do you have any say on what they distill or what we're making next, or like inside scoops?
I have all the inside scoops on everything and what we're making next and how we're processing it and the distilling process. I don't have a say in it because I am not a master distiller. I will never claim to be one. Our master distiller, he doesn't like to call himself one, but he is.
Yeah.
He went through the first Moonshine University class ever back in 2013 with our owner, Ryan, and fell in love with it. And he's stayed with the company ever since. And watching him grow through videos and proxies and tasting one of the first barrels to now, I can say there's a 110% difference, and it's absolutely phenomenal the way that they've changed just tiny little things to make it the product we have today.
Yeah, it's we did the executive bourbon steward thing, but we got to go there to do it. And
That's awesome.
After we left, I was like, man, I would love to go and do like the full distiller's course where they teach you how to basically start a distillery.
Yeah,
it would be amazing.
No, I think that's my next step is to get my executive steward. So
do it, man. It's fun. It's I don't have my book near me, but it's a good time, man. It's good stuff to know. It's one of those things like, it teaches you how to speak to it eloquently, I guess. But the whole point of it is like, military service, basically. You're a steward to the spirit. You're not trying to be cocky and flex on anybody. You're there to be like, well, if you don't like it, let's figure out how we fix that.
Right.
Where most people you see, it's like, if you don't like this and you have a shitty palate, it's like, nah, that's not the answer.
No palates are ever the same. So no one's going to taste the same of certain products, no matter who you are, unless you're an identical twin. Then you're just weird. Right. But
you even see that with wild game too. I know plenty of people that don't like the way whitetail tastes, and I think that's one of the cleanest, purest, most delicious meats out there.
I can say I'm not the one who likes whitetail the most. I will eat it because I do like the flavor, but it's a little different for me. I'm used to eating elk or mule deer, and those have different flavors profiles.
For sure. So if you're used to eating elk, then yeah, whitetail's probably not the best. For me, it's the other way around. If I eat elk, I'm like, what is happening in my mouth?
I was about to use another comment from the military.
If I could choose, though, to be fair, I would probably choose elk. I've never had mule deer though.
It's delicious. I love mule deer. I hate to say a cleaner taste than whitetail, but that's how I can portray it. Is it's just a little bit cleaner of a taste.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's and to be and I mean, I've had whitetail that was like this tastes weird. It all comes down to how it's prepared and how it's
Oh, right.
how it's butchered and everything else too. So it's all everything's subjective.
I guess me growing up eating raccoon and possum and squirrel, whitetail was just the bee's knees. But if you're eating elk, yeah, I guess whitetail's probably not the best meat on the planet.
No, it's elk, moose. The only thing I really haven't eaten that I didn't like was black bear.
Dude, nobody likes black bear.
Is not the first person. Yeah,
I like it to an extent, depending on where they're at. So I mean, as long as they're not around people, I'll eat it all day. And
We had a
yeah,
well, we had a podcast the other day with a guy talking about killing black bear, and somebody I have to pull it up. We had a comment on YouTube where they had killed a black bear. Can't remember now, and it was apparently really good. So I guess it's just location.
yeah, I would say if it's just eating berries and tree shrub and all that, I bet it's going to taste great. But as soon as it starts eating meat, that's when the meat flavor changes completely. And I've had that
yeah.
both times. So one tasted absolutely phenomenal, and one tasted not the best on earth. Sort of, yeah.
I hear the term sometimes the blueberry bear.
Yeah.
You're shooting a blueberry bear. I think that's what you're referring to is
Yep.
a bear that's that particular time of year is grazing on berries and things like that. I would imagine has a much better taste than something that's been rummaging through people's trash or being baited with meat and other crap.
Yep.
I had to look it up. It was Bob Thinnis. Sorry, Bob. The chokecherry bears in Montana are super tasty. He says he's had 2 of them. So
Okay.
chokecherry. I don't even know what. No, I do. Yeah, I looked it up whenever he said that. Go get some chokecherry bear.
So what's the story behind that beast behind you?
The Nyala.
Yeah.
So we were doing an auction about 4 years ago, right before COVID hit, and I bought a silent auction for my dad, myself, and my uncle to go to South Africa and hunt a bunch of different animals. This was not included, but I wanted it. So, but when we did that, we were given 5 different animals. I have 3 behind me that you can't see. I have a black impala, a regular impala, a blessed buck, and this thing right behind me is a Nyala, which is related to a kudu.
Okay.
It's just a smaller version of a kudu, but I think so much prettier because there's dots on its rear end, the stripes going down, the horns are already ivory tipped. Let's see if I can get its fit. No, face is turning the other way. Sorry.
They have a really cool mane kind of on the bottom of their necks though, which is
they
nice.
do, and their rear hind and has almost the spotted figures going back down it, which is kind of unique in that aspect. So watching them come out from the mountains in South Africa were really cool. Or coming out of the trees creeped me out one other time. So
does it taste like regular antelope or has it got a different flavor?
Oh, completely different flavor. Super sweet, very light. The texture was almost clean. I'm trying to think of the flavors. It's been over a year now.
Yeah.
The best one I had was a kudu though. A kudu backstrap. I will fly back out there just for that.
You'd probably go to Texas to get some.
I'm not saying I won't. It'd probably save me a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, for sure. Have you had access or like some of the stuff that we can get around here?
I have not had access. I do have prong. I did have that was my first kill ever, and probably 99, 98. Nice. So that was the first animal I ever took was a prong deer at 500 yards.
Wow.
Well, trust me, it was a lucky shot. There's no way on earth I could have shot that on purpose unless my dad said, put the gun in your shoulder here, aim at this reticle, and then point that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. In eastern Colorado because of the winds. And I was able to hit it 500 yards with a very old 30-06 that should have not fired at all.
And I bet your dad exploded.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
that's one thing that's been on our list for a while is a pronghorn hunt.
I may know some people.
We don't ask for favors ever, but I would try and pull a favor on a pronghorn hunt.
I may know some people.
I like Colorado. There's I climbed when I was in the Army. We went to Pikes Peak and climbed that, which was terrible. And
I
then
don't.
I don't recommend it. And then we went to Utah, climbed something out there. We climbed Mount Olympus, which was terrible. Then turns out Afghanistan's way worse. You would think it
Oh,
wouldn't be,
it's
but
so
the
much
rocks
worse.
are they're like 4 foot tall. You're like
Yeah,
climbing up rocks to climb. It's stupid. That kind
there's
of
not. It's not a rock there. That you're just climbing over a boulder
yeah,
at this point.
for sure.
Yeah,
With way too much weight on your back and Kevlar. Yeah, fun times.
yeah. Just put 200 pounds on you. Climb this mountain vertically.
Yeah, you'll be
Go.
all right. Yeah, and you're black on ammo because you decided to bring water instead of bullets. So. All right, tell us about this rye. This is the next one.
The rye is absolutely phenomenal. This is probably my second favorite. This is 86 proof. It's aged. I don't know which one you have currently. If it's the 1 year or the 2 year, it should say
1
it
year.
on there. The 1 year.
It's the one. Yep.
Yeah. So everything from now on is a 2 year from us. So it's very unique, but it's 69% rye, 4% barley, and the rest is corn, of course. So what we do with that is distill it in the process we do. It's open air fermentation on all of our distilling. So this comes out with a little bit different flavor profiles. And the water we use, we actually pull right from the Eagle River, and then
Nice.
do a reverse osmosis on it, and then keep going with it. So everything that you have, it comes straight from the Eagle River.
And the rye comes from the same tribe, or
Same tribe.
yeah,
Yeah.
is that their main thing, growing crops?
Again, I would love to give you more information, but I
Yeah,
don't know off the top of my head.
that's right. The nose on it is very good too. It has like a rye spice that you would expect, but almost like a kick of cinnamon on it.
Yeah, so that's every time I try to pull from this, each bottle has like a little bit different flavor profile.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of unique hearing what you guys are actually coming up with it and what you actually think of it. So
Has a lot of the typical kind of rye flavors,
mm-hmm.
and then yeah, the nose, like the cinnamon on the nose, doesn't pull through, but it does come out very. I mean, it's a lower proof, so it's not 100% surprising, but it is very easy on the palate.
Yeah. If you watch, do you know Jake Hoods-Moliere?
Yep.
Yeah. So we just did a podcast with him recently, and he talked about it. It's he called this a cuddly bear.
Okay. That works.
Yeah. Or no, this one was a scary bear. I'm sorry. The nose he didn't like, but the palate and flavor profiles he absolutely loved. So that's how he described it. And he
What's
said,
funny
"This
with
is
go ahead, sorry.
no, please."
No, he said, I want to hear what he said.
That's pretty much what he was going off of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
it's
with any,
like
I was gonna say with anything young, there is a tendency to get some of those more harsh notes, that come from. But people, I've also tasted whiskey that smells fantastic and it tastes like shit. So, back to how does it taste?
Right.
Yeah, sure, you get some of those notes that are a little harsh on the nose, maybe, or just maybe aren't what what your brain wants or typically associates with that particular um, profile or mash bill, but on the palate, it's much more pleasurable.
Right.
what I find interesting about the way the water's done, as opposed to being like what most people are familiar with, like the limestone water and the what that does to a whiskey, and then taking river water that doesn't have a lot of that mineral content, it'll actually give it almost like a thicker mouthfeel, almost like you're
Hmm.
swallowing something. Not it's not thin, so it's easy to take a younger whiskey and let it stand up to other things, blind, because it does have a thicker mouthfeel. Just feels like there's more consistency to the liquid as opposed to what people are used to in limestone water,
Right. Absolutely.
which I always find fascinating.
Well, that and it's kind of unique because you guys know elevation plays a huge game in when it comes to whiskey. So a 2 year old whiskey here could be a 10 year old whiskey in Kentucky just because of the elevation, because water evaporates 10 times faster up here than it does down there, out of the like our barrels. So we're getting a higher proof, and those constant heat temperature changes up here are just brutal. Sometimes today was 96 degrees at the distillery. So,
Are you still using the smaller barrels, or have you gone up to the larger ones?
we're up to the larger one, so we're at 53.
Okay. Yeah, 53 gallons. Okay.
Yeah,
The
we've
smaller
been.
ones, I'd imagine you'd lose almost everything out of it pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think they realized when they first started that they had to switch pretty damn quick because they were losing that 1 year almost all of it, besides a little bit. So
Yeah.
So you guys will see what are the max, like what are the outside, I guess, maximums of those ranges? Like what's the hottest weather you'll see, and then like what do you see in the winter, like in terms of the coldest you guys? So I guess for temperatures for that those barrels are being exposed to.
the temperature fluctuations.
Yeah.
So it really varies, right? Because uh, the distillery has an air conditioner, but we don't use it. The only place we use it
Yeah.
is the office upstairs and in the tasting room, and those doors are shut unless we're doing a tour. Then they open, and then they get shut immediately again.
Sure.
Out where the rick house is and the distillery, because it's one spot right now until we build another rick house, because we're out of room completely. It can go up to 110 degrees, I've seen, and then negative 30. I think I saw this winter.
Oof. Wow.
That's cold.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
So if you were to do a single barrel, how many bottles are going to come out of the typical barrel that's like, say, 4 years old?
4-year-old single barrel at our 86 proof, you're going to probably get 220 to 250 dependent.
What about
So-
barrel strength?
Barrel strength, you're going to get with our rye or bourbon, it wouldn't matter because they're sells 750 milliliters. I've seen 200 to 170. It depends on what barrel proof we're actually putting it at. The bourbon I pulled out, I cheated a little. This is our barrel strength at 116 and at 2 years. So
That's not bad. And what's your entry proof?
entry proof is 125
Okay.
for our bourbon, because you guys know all bourbons have to be put in at 125. You can't go any higher.
Right.
Rye's a little different, and we have some play with that. I did have a rye. My dad stole it from me when he was helping me move in these African animals. So, and that was a 130 proof.
Nice. Yeah, you can go 125 or less. Wild Turkey still does 115. 115 was like the standard forever, and then they finally upped it to 125. And most people went there because it just makes sense to distill that high, but of losing proof mainly is the reason why.
Yeah, that's why we did it as well. We wanted to get that high content out of it, but some of our stuff I've seen distilled a lot higher, and I kind of enjoy it that way, but we're not going to release that to the public. That's kind of the staff hidden barrel,
which has got to be cool working there, and you can get some rare stuff that nobody else can get.
Oh yeah, no, I did a barrel thief the other day, and I was going to do one today before I leave to Kentucky for our mystery sample or something I can't talk about yet. But if you guys came out here to Colorado, we'll go and do some barrel thieving from it, and you'll try some stuff that's not going to be released for probably another 6 months, and you'll be severely surprised on how drinkable it will disappear. And I know that's not a word, but I'm fucking going with it.
I know what it means though. It makes perfect sense. Gus, you got an anniversary coming up, so
yeah, October.
Well, look at there. Come back out.
Yeah, I might have to. We've been saying forever we're planning on going back on our 10-year, which would be next year, but may have to do it 2 years in a row.
I mean, 9-year and 10-year. I mean, you'll be. I mean, that's perfect. You guys were married in 2014 or 13? 14.
Yep.
So perfect. You guys come out each year for your anniversary, and then we can give you guys something each year for your anniversary, and our anniversary is going to be next year for our 10 year as well. So
done deal.
Dude, you definitely got to go for their 10-year. I might even go with you.
Yeah, you're invited.
I'm invited for your anniversary?
Yeah, sure. Come on.
I'm sure Jessica will love that.
Well, you're not staying with us or anything.
Yeah.
No, I thought we were going to split a room.
Negative.
We'll get an Airbnb together.
No, so when we went there for our anniversary, we went horseback riding at Four Eagle Ranch, and and they have the vines at Vale or whatever out there, and she loved that place, and they do some sort of like glamping thing out there. We can get like a canvas tent, and she really wants to do that. So I'm sure I'm going to drop sell one of the kids and go do that.
Well, you know some people out here now, so just I may be able to give you some connections.
I appreciate that.
You could also write it off because it could be a
it's true.
scouting idea for maybe we want to do some glamping, some
Oh,
July
maybe
in Charleston in the swamp,
There you go.
Kevlar canvas tent camping.
I'm not. You guys, let's talk about August. July, I don't have any days available on Earth.
To come down here.
Yeah, no, there's no way. August,
warm.
yes, yeah.
This is the hottest day of the year right now. Today, it was miserable all day today.
What temperature?
When I looked earlier, the real feel was 98, which is it's probably 93 degrees with, I don't know, 145% humidity.
Yeah.
See,
and
no.
yeah, next month in August will be hotter. And what's funny is that August 15th is our deer season opener. And people literally walk out to their blinds in shorts and tank tops with snake boots on, sit in the blind
I like
in hopes of getting
people.
a velvet buck.
I'm
You
not
usually do
saying.
it.
Oh, I would do it all. You're gonna see me in some. God, where are those? The shorts, military, silkies.
Some Ranger
silkies?
panties?
Yeah, Ranger
Oh
panties.
yeah. Oh no, I will walk up in some silkies all day long with
Yeah.
a camo, half camo shirt. I don't care.
See, Gus says people as though he's not talking about us.
Well, I was going to say, we do it every year too. So it's whatever.
Get a thermocell and a mosquito net.
It's a rite of passage. You got to at least try and get opening day, or at least that first week, and then I don't go back out until October.
Yeah. That's the only time we can get a velvet buck, but it's too miserable. You can only make it like through. I mean, we know some lunatics that'll sit in a tree stand for the entire season, but I can't do it. There's mosquitoes. It's the mosquitoes is what it is.
Is it really?
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Well, I have a lot of whiskey. I may just bring that out and start drinking it in the deer stand. Put the gun away. So I'll make it. I just don't know if I'll live.
To be honest with you, if you want to experience it, you can feel free to come down. I'll put you in a stand and come pick you up 7 hours later, destroyed.
We'll bring you back to the clubhouse and we'll have dinner ready for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not saying that. Trust me, I'll do that, or I'll get down and start trying to track a deer because I'm not used to tree stands. I'm used to actually going out and finding the steps and going after them.
I don't think you'll do that here. You'll get bit by a snake pretty quick.
Okay, then that's not happening.
Yeah, we got scary spiders, scary snakes, and swarms of mosquitoes in August.
And apparently now wild hogs to contend with.
Wild hogs.
Oh,
And gators. We got gators back there.
I don't recommend tromping around this time of year, but by all means, we'll give you a radio. We'll give you a radio. Just call for help.
You're pushing me off now.
No, what we do is we have a club stand that's on a field. We'd put you in there. It's a blind, so you could wear literally shorts and a tank top, and you'd be perfectly fine. But I would wear a mosquito net and have a thermocell running, and just hang out. And then if you see something, shoot it. I think Gus and I are allowed to have one guest kill a buck a year.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you want to tag, I'll give it to you.
Oh, you're fucked. I'm coming out.
You should do it just because
All right.
I know how much fun we're going to have the night after.
No, I'm putting it on my calendar. August, you said 15th?
Yeah, let's pull it up and look because I'm curious what day that is.
Let
August
me know
15th,
so I know.
It's
That's
a
a
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
dude. So you could come down, cheap flight on like a
Monday.
Sunday. Nobody flies on Sundays or even Monday, whatever.
Yeah. We'll make it a work trip. We'll talk about everything whiskey. We'll do another podcast. I can maybe bring down a case or 5.
It's a write-off right there.
Yeah.
It's a write-off.
Yeah. Dude, you know how much interesting a hunting story would be? Like, we'll film the whole thing. Like, this
let's
is
do
what
it.
hunting on August 15th is like, and then we'll show everybody.
We'll just show that scene from Ace Ventura when he's inside the rhinoceros' ass and he's just drenched in sweat.
Yep. Warm.
Do not go in there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. I'll do this. I'll do it all day.
I think you should. I'll do it with you.
Perfect.
I got PTO or whatever it is that a corporate job give you.
I'm still trying to figure that out. I'd take leave never.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this will be a work trip for me. So
that's right. It would be.
Yep.
100% would be. We could do the whole thing sponsored by 10th Mountain.
Yep. So we'll come
How-
out there. We'll have a good time. So
Yeah, how easy is that?
Done
Well,
deal.
we should probably get off here before we start making more plans. I mean, I've got a whole sticky note here full of stuff.
coming out, drinking.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So just let me know how you guys are feeling about this, and what are your guys' flavor profiles? I'm really curious on that rye that you just had. So you talked about the nose a little bit and a little bit of the flavor profiles, but I'm really curious on actually what your guys' thoughts are on it. Complete. So
Yeah, we'll probably end up writing some of this out, and I'm going to do some videos on it 100%. As far as stuff that we actually look for, I've got a problem with the peanut. If I find a whiskey that has peanut, any kind of peanut, it just fires me up. It's like, 'cause it's always a surprise, and then when I taste it,
right.
I'm like, fuck yeah. And then the other one is banana, and I don't really like bananas. Like, I don't eat bananas, but banana in my whiskey for some reason. So Brown Foreman's I'm a big fan of Brown Foreman because of that. There's a lot of banana, especially in some of the Jack Daniels, Old Forester stuff.
Right.
Some of the Jim Beam, Old Beam, some turkey stuff has peanut in it. And then I love the fig, to be honest, in this brandy, which I know that's not what we're looking for here, but the cinnamon on the nose, I like it. I like the way that rye hit the nose on that rye. For being 1 year old, I'm very impressed actually on kind of like the entire package of it. What do you think, Gus?
Yeah, I agree. It hits a lot of the notes that I like. It has the cinnamon, sort of the I get the dark fruit, like figs, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I like that in any whiskey. On the palate, I'm drawn a lot. Matt mentioned banana. I like whenever you get apple. Like I'm like green apple is something that I really like. And when you pair that with the sweetness from the corn, it's a win for me every time. Matt really typically likes higher proof stuff. I'm more down the middle, like your 100 proof or in that ballpark, which is kind of where my palate likes to be. So I really enjoy both these whiskeys today, man. I really appreciate you sharing them. I'm looking forward to trying the brandy.
No, absolutely, and we'll bring out a few other things when I come out there, or you guys come out here. But it sounds like I'm coming out there first. So, uh,
I
and
want to
I
come to you when
already.
it's snowing. I don't ever get to see snow.
Oh yeah, come on out.
Yeah.
I may have a decent sized house here with
Okay.
a bunch of dead animals everywhere, and then we can go up on a property and have a good time and shoot whatever, and then go down to the distillery and drink. So
Yeah. I might
yeah,
even FFL transfer some stuff up there.
I'm not saying I know a person that has that, but I may know a person that has that.
I've got an FFL here, so if they get along, we can at least mail it up there for a little while.
Yeah, I think they'll get along.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. My guy's still active duty, so if he gets away
So
with
is
a lot
mine.
of it. Oh,
So is mine.
perfect.
Yeah.
We're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
on this regular bourbon, dude, just the sweetness of it, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. But we'll bring out some barrel strength of both the bourbon and the rye, and if we just released our bottle and bonded, like I told you guys that my dad stole. So um, if I can find that again, if there's another bottle that's hidden in the distillery somewhere, I'll bring that out so you guys can try it, and we'll have a good time, and we'll go through a bunch of different flavors. And I have something for both of your wives. If they don't like whiskey, we have a cordial that's peach, vanilla, and sage infused.
Nice.
That is absolutely dangerous because it is 70 proof still.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And we have a potato vodka that we distill in house as well as our single malt. So
It may not be a surprise to you, but our wives love whiskey too.
Also, yeah.
hey, some do, some don't. So
Yeah. Ours were kind of put to the flame. They had to like it. There's no option. It's like, well, we're doing this now. So either you get along or you get out.
Yep.
God, no, I just need to find a wife like that.
They're out there, man. Or you could just do what I did. I forged mine in fire, and
I've tried. You can't do that up here in Vale. That you sort of get slapped. They have too much money.
Oh, is that true? Well, then you just got to take it as that. Like you're getting into it for the money. Then I got into it for conversation and getting along.
I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I'd rather have the conversation and get along than get slapped by a rich person constantly.
I
So-
think that's a good choice, dude. If I had to pick one of the two.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, thank you for coming on, man. We're definitely going to do this again. It was a good chat. We have
Yeah,
a lot
man.
in common, I think.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. 100%. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Sweet. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. As always, you use code podcast, save 20% on everything on our store. Check us out at patreon.com/whiskey and whitetails. And check us out on YouTube. All this stuff's on YouTube now. So if you're listening and you want to watch, it's there.
And Bryan, where can they find more about 10th Mountain?
It's going to be 10thwhiskey.com, and it's all 10THMTN is our whiskey, and you can find that out across all of our social media platforms.
Sweet.
100%. We'll have links in all the bios for that as well. You can come down there and click it. And yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Have a good day.